morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. You know, I think that in many ways, concepts are more useful than facts. And in my last, well, not my last, but in a recent video, I believe that I failed y'all. I failed in adequately communicating concepts. So I'm going to try it again. But first, let me have some of this, please. All right. Had a great day yesterday. Wanted to shoot this video yesterday afternoon, but it went long. And had another group meet and did a lot of work. And then afterwards, why am I framed thusly? Afterwards, a few of us went out to eat Thai food. Yeah, Thai food. I like it. All right. The video on line 1, 2, and 3 gear. From your comments, and I appreciate your comments, I realized that I did not get some key concepts across. To all of y'all. And so there's something here for everybody, even the little old ladies. Where do I want to start? I guess I'll just hit it and we'll just go around the horn that way. One comment I saw over and over was, well, I would add this and I would add that and I would add this and I would add that to it. Okay. Have you? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's one. A lot of people look at lists of things like that, which was a physical list, right? These are the things to have on one's kit. And they say, well, I would add this. Well, do you even have a kit to add it to? If not, why not? How do you know you would add that if you don't have a kit? So that's my way. I guess that came off harsher than I sounded. Wah. That's my way of saying, before you think you know what you would do, you should probably go try and do it. So that's one. The second point relates to two different threads of comments, and that is this. Lines 2 and 3 are fighting gear. Fighting gear. Maybe it's 3 points. So number 1, if you cannot fight with the gear you have on, it's actually hurting you, not helping you. And so I was dead serious, and I was the one who helped this group develop their concepts on physical requirements prior to adding any more gear. If one cannot do 20 burpees, one really has no business fighting. Okay? Any infantry soldier out there can do 20 burpees, no problem, even the 40-year-old ones. And so fighting is a physical thing. It is exhausting, right? It's not fantasy. It's not a pew-pew game on the internet. It's not a movie. It's exhausting. And you got to move. And if you are weighed down with gear so that you cannot move, you will die. And so if you cannot do the minimum requirements of 20 burpees, then you can't add anything to your line 1 gear. You have no business adding any weight, not 1 ounce of weight to it if you can't do 20 burpees. And what you need to do is start doing burpees. The gear that I had worked out with this organization, it was the minimums. Those of you who have been infantry type soldiers know that that's not a soldier's load. there's the other concept. Survivors, preppers in the main are not soldiers. I'm not a soldier. I used to be a soldier for 20 years. I'm not a soldier now. Um, there's a lot that goes into being a soldier, and there's a lot more than gear, right? And so this line 1, 2, and 3 gear was designed for a group. It was designed for the security team of that group, which is going to take us to the third point that spins off of this. But it was designed for a group to do the best they could at defending themselves. Defending themselves. I saw a comment somewhere, and again, I'm not calling anybody out. I don't even remember who said it, but it was like, a contact will take 1,000 rounds of ammo and dun 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 dun. Well, I've been in some contacts and they didn't take 1,000 rounds of ammo, and I could be misquoting that. But my point is this: more ammo is good if you can carry it and fight with it. But the reality is, the people who are going to be using this gear, are most likely not trained in how to close with and destroy the enemy. You're not trained in, how to break contact effectively and things like that. And the best you're going to do is to hold your own and get away, right? We're not training soldiers here, so that's why it's light. And if you can't do the 4 miles with all the kit or do the 20 burpees with just the line 2 gear, you got no business adding weight. It will kill you. You won't be able to move fast enough and you will die. And so that little extra guga doesn't matter. Another point on that, which is related, little old ladies. I saw a comment. That's my comment. It was from a woman. I have no idea how big you are, how old you are. I'm just taking, as always, I take your comments and I springboard off of them. But in my mind, picture a little old lady. Picture some 5 foot tall, 90 pound, 72-year-old woman. Heck no, she's not going to be able to carry that stuff. She has no business carrying that stuff. She has no business running through the woods with a rifle and ammo and a blowout kit and all that stuff. Come on, if that's what you have to resort to defending your group, you haven't done your workups, your pre-work to get the right people in your group, right? She's got no business having that. She doesn't have that. Our old ladies don't have line 1, 2, and 3 gear. Most of them have line 1 gear of a sort, but they don't have line 2 and line 3 gear. Are you kidding me? They're not going on patrol. I'm starting to get too old for that stuff. So it's designed for soldiers, for fighters. It's not a bob. Your line 3, which is the rucksack, the sustainment rucksack, it's not a bug out bag. It's a fighting load. It assumes you're already where you want to be, and now you've got to go do this thing, this patrol, this go sit on the guard post in the LPOP, for a couple days or something. So you take your rucksack with you so that you can live out of it. That's what it's for. It's not for bugging out. I can with confidence say that out of all of y'all and me, all of us, there aren't 3% of you that have done more patrols than I have. There might not be any of y'all that have done more patrols than me, but there's always somebody better, faster, meaner, right? But compared to the vast majority of y'all, I have done a lot more patrolling, walking through the woods with guns, right, than y'all have. In all that time, and I was going to say thousands. I wanted to shoot this video yesterday. I was thinking about it yesterday, but then I actually did like some minor math in my head. I probably have not done thousands of patrols. I have certainly done hundreds of patrols. Been on, conducted, led hundreds of patrols. Do you know I never once, not once, started a fire? I saw a couple different comments. I'd have 4 ways to start a fire in that. Why? You're not going to start a fire on a patrol. Patrolling is not camping. Right? It sucks. It's horrible, actually. It really is. It's hard. Um, I did on many patrols light a heat tab or a hexamine tablet or a little stove, like a, quiet, like a whisper light, um, camp type stove to heat up beverages, um, and rarely food. We usually ate the food cold, but I have heated up some food. But never, ever started a fire. You don't do that. You just don't do that. So there's no need to carry 4 ways to start a fire. And by the way, if Daniel Boone had a Bic, he'd have carried one. And if everybody has a Bic in their line one gear, we can get a fire started with any kind of minimal skill. Should we need one? But if you need one, you might as well get ready to start fighting, because as soon as you light that fire and have that smoke, I'd do a Dakota fire hole. You don't light fires on patrol. So there's that. Not in a non-permissive environment. Um, yeah, I did want to hit that. It, when one goes on a patrol, one has a purpose. I am sending a 6-man patrol, and they're going to go out a mile beyond our border, straight out, let's say to the north. And then they are going to work their way over the next 3 days all the way around our perimeter, about a mile out, to see what's going on out there, to assess possible threats, possible assets, things like that. They're going to be walking primarily at night, all night. They're going to be holed up during the day, observing areas of interest. They're not going to have any fires. They're not going to set up a hooch unless it's raining so hard that it'll give them hypothermia. They will just lay there on the ground under a bush. When it's time to sleep, when it's Bob's turn to sleep, he'll just roll over where he is and go to sleep, and Tim will take over on the binos. This isn't fun. It's not comfortable. It's not camping. You don't need that stuff. Another thing I saw, somebody said, you should have a way to sharpen your knife. Why? You're on a 3-day patrol. That's what I designed the rucksack for this group, 3 days. Your knife should hold an edge adequate enough for 3 days. You're not going to cut that much stuff with your knife in 3 days. You may cut a stake for a poncho hooch if it's raining. You may cut some fields of fire stuff out of the way or something like that, but you're not going to be whittling a canoe. Right? Your knife will still be sharp at the end of 3 days. You can sharpen it when you get back. The whole thing is weight reduction, man. You don't want to carry anything extra except what it takes you to survive. Not thrive. No, to survive. I'm telling you, when you come back off a real patrol, you are dirty, tired, hungry, scratched, stinky. Yeah. Maybe I need to have another patrol class. Maybe. So, line gear is designed for your fighters. Now, everyone in your group should have the ability to fight, to defend the group and themselves. But I'll give you an example. My wife bought, years ago, back in the 90s, through the DCM, Department of Civilian Marksmanship, I think it was called. She bought an M1 Garand. Shipped it to the house, right to the door. It was amazing. I was going to do it too, but I was busy in grad school and I just didn't get the paperwork done and go to shoot the required competitions that you had to shoot at the time. But she got herself an M1. She got a good one. And it's kind of hit or miss. At the time, you didn't get a pick or anything like that, but she got a nice one, and it was accurate. And she was good with it. And she really liked it. And when I say she was good with it and it was accurate, this is not an exaggeration. She shot that at 100 yards off a bench and clover-leafed the three rounds. They all touched at 100 yards. That's good shooting, and that's a good rifle at 100 yards. She did it from a bench, but she did it. That was a good rifle, and she liked it a lot. And she shot it back then a lot. And she was good at, everything, reloading it, everything, which it's different with an M1 Garand. And she goes, when the apocalypse comes, I want this to be my rifle. And at first I'm like, sweetie, you're not carrying that thing around the woods. Because back then she had line 1, 2, and 3 gear, and she was younger and fitter and stronger, and hey, somebody's got to do it. She can do it. um, but then it hit me. Um, she ain't gonna be doing that. So we modified her rifle because the length of pull, and I'm getting a little bit technical, but the length of pull was a little bit long for her. So I cut off the stock. I bought a new stock because the stock that it came with was actually nice too. So I bought a different surplus stock to modify, and we cut it shorter, and we put a 1-inch thick pad on it, so the whole thing was at the right length of pull for her, which makes it look weird. It looks like the stock's only like this long in the back. It looks like a little stubby stock. And then I filled the hole with melted lead to make it really heavy in the back end. And I took a Dremel tool that I'd gotten for Father's Day, and I sculpted, and she's right-handed, I sculpted the pistol grip to fit her hand, So it's a ugly rifle that fits her perfectly and shoots like a champion now. But she's not carrying that thing anywhere, right? So all your people should know how to defend themselves. She'll shoot that from the ramparts or something. Um, all your people should know how to defend themselves. But man, when it's time to fight, you don't want to use your little old ladies and kids and old men, right? I mean, they got no business doing that. If you come to that, you're in a lot of trouble. Um, so it's designed as a fighting load. It's not camping. So little old ladies and old men and unwell people don't need to worry about it. That's not, you don't need it. You're not carrying it. That, and I feel like there was another point I wanted to make, but if I remember and it was that important, I'll just shoot another video today. Weight's important. Your bug out gear should be multi-layered. Didn't I just do a video on layers? I think I did. You should have a plan wherever you are to bug out to an alternate location, which you have already decided upon. And that plan should be to take as much stuff with you as you can. If you have a dump truck, because you happen to own an excavating company, that dump truck should probably be full of stuff. And then on the back of that dump truck should probably be some motorcycles or bicycles, or you're towing a car or a pickup truck or something, that if the dump truck no worky, we can get in that and go. And when that no worky, we get on the bikes and go. When the bikes no worky, then we take our rucksacks and we start walking, right? And when you're in the car, which is what most of you have, a car or a SUV or a van or something, you can have your bug out bags. You need your bug out bags. They need to be ready to go so you can grab them and go from the car if it comes to that. You can have all kinds of extra stuff in there also to be comfortable when you stop and camp and get there or whatever. But you got to be able to carry your bug out bag. You have to be able to get to where you're going with your bug out bag. And so I'll just tell you one more story and then I'll get going. I can smell breakfast. I met a guy one time through a friend. He goes, you got to meet this guy. He's cool. And he was cool. And he took me into his garage. He had some money. And he showed me his bug out bag and his wife's bug out bag. And they were like expedition size rucksacks. Like what you see the guys climbing to the assault camp on Everest. The big rucksacks. And they were nice. They were Kelties or something. They were squared away. And he showed me what he was also going to carry was some kind of chest rig, and chest rigs were kind of new back then, and an M1A, which is a .308 caliber rifle. And then he showed me his wife, and she had like 200 and something rounds of SKS ammo on stripper clips and 2 bandoliers, and she had an SKS, and dun 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 dun. So he's showing me all this stuff, and I'm thinking, wow, this guy's, and he had a plan. He knew where he was going. It's 120 miles away. I think it was 120 miles away. If they had to, they were going to walk there. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm thinking, wow, he's pretty squared away. And he was fit. He was stout and strong. And then I met his wife. I don't know if it's that there the next time I met him. And she was super skinny to the point of unhealthy skinny. And then I found out she had what's it called? Scoliosis or some problem with her neck, spine, back. She couldn't carry anything. She couldn't carry like a computer bag over her shoulder without pain. And I talked to the guy and I said, "What are you doing? Giving your wife, this huge rucksack." Well, if I go down, she's got to be able to function. Yes, she does need to be able to function if you go down. But she doesn't need all that crap you've got in her bob. I guarantee it. That's one. Two, why is she carrying a rifle and 200 or 120, however many rounds it was, of ammo? She can't carry that. She's not going to carry that 15 feet, man. He's like, well, she needs to be able to protect herself. I said, yeah, then give her a 22. Because nobody wants to get shot, whether it's a 22 or a 357 Magnum. Give her a 22. At least she'll have it and not dump it on the side of the trail somewhere, because it's either stop and wait here or dump this stuff and keep walking. I don't think he appreciated my comments, but they were true, right? It doesn't do you any good to have more than you can carry. Back to the LCE, your combat gear, your line 2 gear. It doesn't do you any good to have more stuff than you can actually fight in. And if you can't fight, you got no business carrying a lot of stuff. Take care of the ounces and the pounds will take care of themselves. All right. Man, I just feel I have a niggling in the back of my head that I had another whole key point. If I do, I'll just call it part 2. All right. Think about it. This isn't fantasy stuff. This is real. It goes along the lines of, I tell people, store food. First thing you need to do as a prepper, store food, store food, store food. Continue to store food, have more food. Do you need firearms? Yeah. But here's the deal. And I just told this to somebody the other day, again. You may never, and I pray to the Father you never, have to fire a weapon in anger, in defense of your life or the life of a loved one or something like that. You may, and honestly, probably, never will have to. But you are going to have to eat. You're going to have to eat now. You're going to have to eat tomorrow. You're going to have to eat 2 years from now. This should be your focus, your effort, your main effort. I'm not saying you don't have supporting efforts of, I got to be able to defend it if somebody comes, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to get all excited about something, get excited about food. All right. I'll see y'all out there.